Dramas of the 90s. Are they over? And do horror movie villains work anymore? Next up on Just a Talk. So let's talk about it. And welcome to the Flicks Picks in the Nitpicks. And I am your humble host, No 718. Oh, and let's get into the talk. And we just gotta get right to it. 90s drama flicks. Like, I'm talking 90s jungle fever. I'm talking 90s Malcolm X. American History X. We're talking Legends of the Fall. More of a thriller, but Seven was on my mind. But that's more of a thriller. But it's there's definitely drama within that. These type of films, Joy Luck Club, was eating Gilbert Grape. Still haven't seen that one, but heard things about it. Fried Green Tomatoes, heard about that. Never watched that one though. That's one that I need to go watch because I've always heard a lot about it. These type of films being at the front lobe, like being like legitimately the thing thing that we will talk about, will be the thing that will be the conversation piece. These type of films that make people murmur amongst the masses in the peanut gallery to say, hey, we gotta go see this. That's what get that word of mouth popping. That's what get that word of mouth moving, percolating, shaking. Are these films really worth it anymore? I guess is a real question. I mean, is it something that people are interested in? Even I look at my algorithms, and don't get me wrong, and this is why I understand why people like Martin Scorsese and other film directors have kind of turned the frown towards the comic book genre, because it's so formulaic and so it's become more of a machine than an actual art. You know what I'm saying? When Kevin Feige could literally tell any director that he could just grab from obscurity that, hey, if they say, hey, I've never directed action before, don't worry about it. We got that already done. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about this. Don't worry. I got guys that could shoot that. I just want you to direct the story. Is it the same? Is it the same type of movie making? No, it's very formulaic. You have to figure out, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's a design for it. It's the reason why there's a big cohesion. It's more of a group effort as opposed to a singular art piece, which would have some fundamental ingredients, if you will, or I don't want to say mandates, but some sort of measured approach. Like, you do this. We're gonna measure out the responsibilities and things like that. It's not the same movie making, and because these are more spectacle based film and they're gonna take up more of the conversation, especially because they're doing something no other film studio was able to do to the success level that they have, or even at all this business model of franchises within franchises, things that can only really been conceptualized via the comic book, who's already comic book characters, because these characters they've done this and woven them into other stories and figured out that part of it from before that. When you have the bare bones of it, you can figure out how to coordinate that properly. But it's different movie making, and the fact that it's a spectacle film, and a lot of directors will look at it, well, it's not like, they don't consider it real movie making, because they can't take these characters and really tell the stories that they want to, because you are franchise driven. So of course you can't just take larger liberties with these characters for the sake of the story if we have to have multiple films coming out after it, including a lot of other characters. I mean, the wiggle room isn't exactly the way it is, because you have to take care of all these different IPs. You got to maximize. It is what it is. It's a business. And I think because of that, that's why you're not going to get... if you ask me, I think a lot of these drama movies, if you were dramatic films, even of now, I think they may measure up box office wise, if you adjust for inflation, about the same, if not more so now, But then at the same time, thinking about it further, I can see the argument why I could fall back, because we got so many different competing. Back in the day, a movie could be number one for weeks on end. That's just unheard of past like maybe 3 weeks, if that. Because so much more product is coming out and so much to compete with, and there's always more product to consume. But again, the fact that we're at that point in the film industry, that doesn't take away the fact and the validity of the conversation that we have right now. Because most of these movie film genre, even if you go to YouTube, or everyone's talking about these franchises and stories and movies, these larger spectacle films, which is really where the fodder is. Like, I could look at my algorithms, and even though I'm a meager channel, I could look and tell which ones get the most energy. And it's not hard to figure out where that will come from and what drives those. But for the most part, if I was to do like a talk about Proud Mary, even if I was a bigger channel, that would probably get very less views. Because one, most people don't even know what Proud Mary is. Two, they don't realize it came out early last year, maybe around this time last year. And three, well, I'm not surprised that no one really went to see it. It bombed. And that wasn't a drama, though. But how about this? Aretha. I would have figured Aretha would have had a lot more conversation around it. No. These aren't the movies that people are talking for long, extended amounts of periods. Even doing, outside of Will Smith being at the helm of it, him doing the Venus and Serena Williams, that film, even though it got me getting nodded for Oscar, if they did it already, I don't remember if it just passed. I think the Oscars just passed. But the thing is, it was talked about, but then it kind of went away. Now, I haven't gotten a chance to see this film, at least as of yet. But is that a valid question? And I think this is what Scorsese and all the others are really finding, is that now that the comic book film industry has become the dominant force, it almost feels like no one cares about the craftsmanship of a regular film. If it doesn't have superhero powers, because now that's a wave, it's no longer interesting. And it's not that it's no longer interesting, it's no longer the primary source of conversation when it comes to entertainment. Like right now, I just listen to people talk about I think it's not was Marilyn Monroe supposed to have a film coming out, which I'm gonna go read a little bit more on, because it sounded like an interesting topic of conversation. And the question was whether or not it was supposed to be NC-17, but that was their topic. The point is that you would assume that would be a dramatic film outside of any kind of the NC rating. So that means there's gonna be a lot of nudity and high sex, focus on sex. But it's still going to be a drama. At least that's me jumping ahead of the gun. But I would assume that's going to be a biopic, like a drama. Treat it like a biopic. And if that's the case, a film like that, you would think that everybody would be willing to talk about for a long time, unless we get drop it in a biblical setting where we could show pyramids and shit like that in the background, where we can use some sort of CG and do some epic, you're not gonna see these type of dramas. The thing that everyone talks about, unless you get those runaway films that's like what was the Asian one like that they did that I guess was like the My Greek Wedding for Greek people for Asians, the Asian wedding, I forget what it was. It was rich Asians, and it got a lot of talk about because it was more because of the representation aspect that kept it in breaking those little milestones. Well, not little milestones, but those milestones. But that was more the thing that kept it in the conversation. Not to mention that there was a lot of high praise for the film. I'm not gonna take nothing away from the film, but the point is, it was all the circumstances around it brought it to the front of the conversation. That's what kept it there, but as opposed to the strength of the movie on its own. Like if that movie was just a regular run of the mill, say it was mostly white people, or what everyone like to say, old white guys, however you want to do the thing that the same types of casting you would get in a regular Hollywood film, it would have got the praise it did, but it wouldn't have been talked as much, because unless you have something going for it outside of the film to keep it in the conversation, to keep it popular for the conversation, because it's wrapped in something that's a popular topic of conversation, it won't last in the talk. You know what I'm saying? And that's concerning, because it'll make you wonder, like, will we have big drama films? And I think drama films will always be there, of course, but especially as we kind of have this disposable media is starting to become like more disposable, because we have so much. Will healthy, strong dramas ever be at the front? Like, have you seen Jungle Fever? Like, where we could really kind of push the envelope on what people can get out of a drama. And not only that, maybe the topic or whatever we're talking about, or maybe we're at a point where we've kind of talked everything out, that there's not much to keep the conversation going, unless you have integrated dramas with a drama universe, where it'll force people to give it the soap opera approach, where you feel like you need to watch every one to get the whole story. And maybe down the line they'll do a dramatic soap opera kind of universe where it's more than one character living in there, and maybe that will have to be the next way in which dramatic films can actually be back to the front lobe of conversation. Yeah, like even Game of Thrones, drama, but it's a fantasy drama. We could put a lot of spectacle and things around it that'll make people still want to be engaged with the world. But it's just something to think about. What do you guys think in the comments below? Do you think that dramas running Hollywood, being at the front lobe of Hollywood, dramas like we used to see of the 90s, where it would get like, it could clutter the conversation when it comes to movie talk, as opposed to comic book movies really running movie talk now? Full on channels have thrived based on spectacle based films, in particular mostly the comic book films. But again, leave in the comments below, let me know, how do you guys feel? Do you feel the same way? Am I reaching? Really, let's discuss this and let me know, man. We could revisit this conversation every time. I just wanted to put it out there. But I want to get into the next topic. Can we just get to the next topic? You know, the superhero, not superhero, the horror villains, the horror film villains. Will we get any more of those? And when I mean horror film villains, I mean like your Freddy's, your boogeyman horror characters, like Pumpkinhead, your Texas Chainsaw Massacre, your Leatherfaces, your Freddy, your Jasons. I mean, I know in the 2000s there was something where they was trying to do something called Venom. There was a couple other ones like Jeepers Creepers, things like that. They've tried to do that in the 2000s, but it just seems like you're no longer seeing mascot horror film villains. We're not seeing this anymore. I mean, I know they've just re-released like a Chucky series and a Chucky movie they just tried to do, but these are going back to old wells, drawing back on and looking for fresh water. I'm asking the question, will we see a new movie come out? Like Jeepers Creepers was new. That was new. Even Leatherface in the 2000s, when that was a releasing of an old character. I mean, will we do something new? Even though we're bringing back Scream and all these other ones from before again. Gotta ask the question. Will they ever put out a film introducing a brand new horror villain to the world? Even It, I thought was done excellent. At least the first one was. You know, it was good to see another Boogeyman. Again, a remake. Have we run out of ideas of horror villain bad guys? Those mascots? Have we done it all? Or is it just that if it doesn't come with a cachet of pre-existing films, that it's something that no one else will actually want to entertain? Maybe I need to open up a Shudder account and really start watching the new ones that they got coming out for B films and see, are they really even trying to create boogeymen anymore? Brand new one, fresh. Because it seems like when it comes to horror films, it's retreads of old wells and pulling out fresh water. But we're not going to a new well, new water. Something brand new. Something that we're willing to invest in and put it out as a general release for the masses to consume. Or maybe people are not easily scared that way anymore for something new. Is it possible? Like I said, the 2000s, they tried to do The Ring. I think that might have came from like Japan, but still, like, even those type of film with the tape. Was that The Ring with the tape? I can't remember, man. The Ring might have been the tape as well, when they put the tape in and the chick climbed out the well and was wilding out. I'm just saying, like, and I remember even just doing that with the tape, where they were trying to incorporate a little bit more technology for a new generation of kids to see if we could scare them. And that's the question with internet. As advanced as we are, is it harder, unless we put it in as timepieces, would it be harder to scare these kids? Tell a story that's actually scary when you could just jump online and, you know what I mean, and text someone while you're hiding in the closet or whatnot. Like, I mean, from the villain, I don't know. I mean, what could you do while you hiding underneath the bed and you have to keep your mouth shut? What are you gonna be underneath there? Just put your phone on, you know what I mean? Like silent while you text. It's, I guess what I'm saying is it harder to find compelling stories or narratives that can actually grip new audiences without having the cachet of old films and old pre-existing history, to have to revamp those, to bring those as fully fleshed out horror films for the masses to consume? I just don't think there is, unless in the B movie Shudder crowd they are creating that there, but none has crossed over to a cult conversation or following, or elevated it to mainstream audiences. I think it's still doable, but the only way to set it off is with, I guess, through a couple of reboots. And once the reboots of old franchises with that cachet bring people back into wanting to be scary again, and like say we do another reboot of all the big names, without, even if it continues from what they're doing, say, as long as this stays in trend. Unfortunately for Halloween, I heard that Halloween 2 just wasn't good. And then, the pandemic effed that up, so it kind of effed up the vibe and the direction of it. But Scream did well. So maybe if there's another film that come behind that, and more than likely it's going to have to tread old waters, it's going to have to be an older franchise. Maybe somewhere, if we could get a couple of these successful ones back to back to back, the energy will be, let's throw out a brand new character. Just like, look, they're about to, if I'm not mistaken, aren't they rebooting Saw? You feel what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting to see if that we could actually recreate new characters, because Jigsaw went on for a long time, but again, he was from the 2000s and he had to survive that long. But shout out to them, because Jigsaw has been the last probably, and holds very little company of being a new boogeyman for people to be afraid of for horror. But leave it in the comments below and let me know, man. Jump into the talk and let me know how you feel about it, man. We want you to get into the talk. This is where we sit down and shoot the shit and have fun and talk movies, because movies are pastimes and we're supposed to have fun with it. So leave it in the comments below. You already know what else to do. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time. And as always, till I have a better outro, chill.